A few years ago, the day before Thanksgiving, I was asked to go purchase a pie. This wasn't just any pie. This was one of those gigantic Costco pumpkin pies. Now, what family wouldn't want a gigantic Costco-sized pumpkin pie for their Thanksgiving meal? I was going to be in the area and I thought, not a problem. On that particular Wednesday, I didn't have anything on my calendar. All I had to do was go shopping and hit my chiropractor appointment. So I started at Costco and I thought, this is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm going to come in, I'm going to get one item. It's going to be the cheapest and fastest Costco run ever. Except, have you ever been to Costco the day before Thanksgiving? If you haven't, I don't recommend it. Because here's what happened. I walked in, it was jam-packed, and initially I thought, uh-oh, is this gonna take me longer than expected? And then I thought, nah, we're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be A-okay. I'm only getting one pie. It won't be a problem. Except it was a problem. Because as I gathered my one pie and I went to go get in line, I realized that the line extended all the way to the back of Costco. All the way to the back. In case I didn't say it before, all the way to the back. Y'all, it took me an hour and 15 minutes to buy one pie. I was fuming. I was so mad that I was spending my free day, my day off, in line for one pie. Now you think the story ends there, but it doesn't. You see, after waiting forever for my pie, I finally get to go to my chiropractor appointment. And as I walked into my chiropractor's office, I realized that I wasn't the only one with an appointment. Because they were going to be closed Thursday and Friday, everyone was there. So then I waited for another hour and 15 minutes for my appointment. Here's the kicker. At the end of my appointment, on my way out, the front office staff said, "Hey, Eric, wait, we have a gift for all of our clients." Do you know what the gift was? The gift was a pumpkin pie, but not just any pumpkin pie. The gift was a Costco-size pumpkin pie directly from Costco. So in my head, I'm thinking, I just waited over 2.5 hours for two pies. I could have saved myself so much time by not going to Costco, only going to the chiropractor, and I would have gotten the desired result. And again, I was fuming. I was so angry. I was so upset that I had spent my day, my morning, my day off, waiting in line for pies. Now, here's what other people might tell you would be the lesson or the moral of the story. Other people might look at this story and say, hey, wait a minute. You got two pies out of the deal. And yeah, you had to wait a long time, but given the context, given your life, is this something to complain about? Shouldn't you be grateful that you are a human being that could even afford a Costco membership, even afford to spend few hours waiting in line, even afford a chiropractor appointment? Shouldn't you be more grateful for what you have? And I see that type of mindset. I see that type of advice and that type of coaching all of the time. And I want to be the first one to tell you, if you haven't heard it already, that this is incredibly, incredibly damaging and incredibly hurtful. Yes, we are all aware that we get to contextualize our discomfort and our pain. Could it be worse? Absolutely, it could be worse. What happens is that we are actually shaming them for feelings that are natural to that experience. Was my life great despite having to wait hours for two pies? Yes. Did that change the fact that I spent 2 hours of my day off waiting in line? No. Was that frustrating? Yes. Do I deny my frustration for the purposes of positivity and gratitude? Absolutely not. Looking back on this story years later, of course I can look back on this with humor and with gratitude. But in the moment, I was really annoyed and I was really frustrated. And when we're annoyed, frustrated, sad, angry, and someone says, look on the positive side, imagine what could be worse. Think about what you should be grateful for. It's not really helpful because gratitude doesn't mean shoving down emotions. Gratitude doesn't mean just looking on the bright side of things. Gratitude is understanding the complexities of human emotion and understanding that there's going to be ebbs and flows in how we feel and what we do about how we feel. If all we are feeling and all we are forcing in our minds is positivity, then we actually don't know how to create gratitude. Gratitude, by definition, is thankfulness. Thankfulness that we are in a spot that we want to be in. Now, I'm clear, and I hope you're clear, that as human beings, there's going to be moments of discomfort, of pain, of just struggle that we don't want to be in. But I'm also clear that those moments are what produces growth. Now, I never want to invite problems into my life, but I'm also clear that if I have big goals, I'm going to have big obstacles. And when those obstacles come, no matter what shape or size they come in, I get to experience my experience and understand what emotions I'm feeling and what lesson I can learn from those emotions. And that's why positivity is not a form of gratitude. Forced positivity, forced gratitude, all it does is that it negates the experience that we have and it actually diminishes the lesson that we have. If I just grinned my teeth and bore the fact that I had to stand in line for so many hours and say, everything's fine, things could be worse, I'm gonna stay positive, everything's okay, I would fail to realize that number one, it's important for me to plan out my days accordingly. That going to Costco the day before Thanksgiving is probably not a good idea. There's a very tangible lesson there. Number two, what happens when I am standing in line? Why was I frustrated? Why was I upset? What could I do to avoid that situation in the future? Or how could I handle it differently? You can't get those types of lessons by just saying, I'm going to be grateful for what I have. Should you be grateful for what you have? Absolutely. But we can't get to that gratitude unless we first understand what we are grateful for. Am I grateful to be a human being that can afford a Costco membership, that can afford to take the day before Thanksgiving off, who can afford a chiropractic appointment? I absolutely am. Am I also a person who gets very impatient and gets to work on that impatience? I absolutely am. But I'd never know that lesson if I shove aside the discomforting feelings that I have and force myself into positivity and gratitude. So, when something goes wrong, whether it be big or small, when something is off, yes, practice gratitude, but practice gratitude in a way that produces more gratitude. And that oftentimes means rejecting the positive statements that we are so often forced upon and really experiencing our experiences, evaluating the emotions that then lead to true, authentic gratitude. If you want to hear inspirational messages like these, make sure that you hit subscribe and stay up to date on all content related to communication, confidence, and storytelling. And as always, make sure that you get off of mute and speak up your story. We'll see you next time.